So if you sign an agreement that says, yeah, if you're late on your payment for this, we get to steal your wife and your child. That's not an enforceable thing according to the law. What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with Master Football. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, hit that red subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like EA college football content, go subscribe to my other channel, the MF Film Room. Link is in the description. But enough about all that college football content. Let's go. Guys, I know that first of all, people are canceling spring games out there. We've got no football right now. The combine's starting, which is actually kind of interesting. Some football fix out there, but we can definitely tell that we're kind of in a situation where there's just not enough football. However, our dear friend, Mr. Ross Dellinger, has a new story that has come out that is going to be, it might not send shockwaves to the top of the college football, but certainly the mid and through the bottom of college football. We've got another domino that is falling because something that we figured was going to happen is happening, but now we have confirmation of it. The Mountain West and the Pac-12 are in discussions about exit fees and a separation. So boom, here we go from Ross Dellinger. Just the other day, it says the Mountain West and Pac-12 and departing Mountain West schools that sued the league have agreed to begin mediation over litigation related to millions in exit and penalty fees that the Mountain West claims the schools and the Pac-12 owe to the Mountain West. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. Now that is interesting. We all kind of figured that's going to happen. That happens all the time. It happened with the Big 12 when Oklahoma and Texas left. It happens to a bunch of different schools like that and a bunch of different leagues. However, there's one thing that he wanted to clarify on, which is because you have to understand who initiates what, who talks about what you do. Your actions say a lot about where you are in your standing with your legal case, and you can see that with what he said right here. He says, more clarity here. The Mountain West originally approached the Pac-12 about starting discussions to potentially reach a solution on the exit and penalty fees. No mediation has been scheduled yet, but this could be the first step in exploring mediation. Now, I know what you're thinking here. You're like, okay, well, what does that matter here? Well, think about this. If you were to file a lawsuit against somebody and they come to you and they say, okay, let's go to negotiate, do you think they have a strong defense? Now, again, I'm not saying that that's automatically what the situation is, but it's one of those deals where, and I work in human resources, in the HR world, it's one of those things where this person has a 10% chance of winning this case. If they win this case, they get $50 million. Or you could pay them 20 grand and it 100% goes away. You weigh those things out. Is that one-to-one with the situation? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's one of those things where if you want the problem to go away, cash in hand, you don't have to extend this out for many, many years. They might prefer that in the Mountain West over this whole situation with the Pac-12. And Ross Dellinger wanted to articulate this recently because Colorado State, Utah State, and then later on, and the addition to it was Boise State, were suing the Mountain West over the exit fees. One of the things that they were claiming here was the fact that the exit fees were kind of what they quoted as a double dip. It's not protecting the conference so much as it is trying to hurt a competitor out there. Now, I know you might say, oh, okay, well, that's kind of the same thing. It's one-to-one. Not really. And with their cases here, the fact that the Mountain West is approaching the Pac-12 kind of lets you know, well, maybe that means that the Pac-12 kind of has a strong case here. Thinking about this. Okay, so if you sign an agreement and the agreement has something that is completely illegal in it, know this right now, that's not necessarily enforceable in court. So if you sign an agreement that says, yeah, if you're late on your payment for this, we get to steal your wife and your child. That's not an enforceable thing according to the law. So what happened here was that the Pac-12, Teresa Gold, and Gloria Nevarez of the Mountain West, the Pac-12 signed an agreement for them to have those schools leave based on that, the scheduling agreement between Washington State, Oregon State, and the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. Everybody here, so we're going to cut off a Mountain West game for you for the next year, and then what we're going to do instead is that you can't poach any of our teams. Well, they signed that agreement knowing that the poaching penalty that was in there isn't necessarily enforceable in court. Now, we're going through that right now in the legal process. However, if they, think about this. Let's just say you signed an assignment agreement with somebody and they went and they stole your girlfriend and then you approach them about settling the issue. Who has the stronger case? That's something. Teresa Gold is Mr. Steal Your Girl. Whatever. Let's move on here. And the Big Mountain podcast posted about this, but I want to show you here what their perspective here. It says Pac-12 and Mountain Clarity, no mediation scheduled yet. I think we are open to all solutions. We always have been. We're open to everything. The Mountain West has always been open to a settlement. This is not news and not a surprise. However, Will M. Betts says, if you're confident on your terms for poaching and exit fees is ironclad, then you don't bend a knee. If the Mountain West was open for settling, then the case wouldn't have been dragged out for this many months as it did. It's that simple. The Big Mountain responded here, says neither side has an ironclad position and settlement was always likely at 80 to 90%. This is one reason the Mountain West grant of rights was written in a way that it was to allocate money in chunks, 61, then 18, then 21. It was very well planned out. But then Will M. Betts comes back and says, except one side has more of a solid position than the other, and it clearly shows. The plaintiffs just made the defense want to enter settlement talks. The Mountain West realized they made a payout promise with money that doesn't exist yet. Now, a lot of people are naturally thinking, okay, if they're going to settle for a lot less, that means that the impact to the Pac-12 is going to be a lot lower, so they're going to have a little bit more cash to kind of go out there. They still need one more team to get to the 8 full-time FBS team limit by July 1, 2026. And Jason Kelly of the Let's Run podcast is basically stating here that the Mountain West grant of rights isn't enforceable until July 1, 2026. What he's trying to say is well, UNLV might be able to get out of this thing. Now, I'm not confirming that, but I know that teams want to get into this new Pac-12. UNLV, for some reason, was offered a life raft. They chose the Mountain West, and Utah State chose the Pac-12. And I'm not saying that they made a wrong decision. I'm just saying they really, even Jason is trying to see a way out of this for UNLV, and I don't think that they have it per se, but he says there might be a potential for that because a lot of people want to get out of this league and into the Pac-12, considering the fact that once we heard that, again, the exit fees was going to be shrunk down from a negotiated standpoint, we know that a couple teams that were complaining about lack of fees that they were going to be getting from the Pac-12 previously may be hit up again. And you already know who the first two that were brought up here, and this is OSUB, right? And again, I'm not necessarily sure that this is a super well qualified source, but I know that the first two names that popped up when you think, okay, we've got some extra resources, we had offered some teams, who can we bring in? You already know Memphis and Tulane. I wouldn't be surprised if South Florida and Texas State. I already mentioned Texas State in a previous video about that before. Texas State's going to be cheaper than UTSA because it's in the Sun Belt versus the American. Again, I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that UTSA and 3 others, including these 2 right here, were already indicated in offers to the Pac-12. So the Pac-12 has extra amount of money because we're understanding here that more than likely that exit fee that originally was thought of, that was anywhere from 3 to 6 times earnings for a yearly basis for the Mountain West payouts. It was something between like 55 to 60 and something beyond that $1 million, something like that. We know that that's going to be shrunk down, so there's extra money to go around to potentially go out there and get some American teams that they've already offered. Tim Pernetti confirmed that to John Canzano that all 4 teams of the AAC4 joint statement, that's actually a cool little acronym in there, Memphis, UTSA, Tulane, and South Florida had offers from the Pac-12. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but they've got more ammunition to make it happen now. Remember, you don't go to mediation. The first person to go to mediation typically is the loser in a negotiation, and the Mountain West is reaching right now after they were sued. I'm not saying they're going to lose. Well, I mean, I think that the reason why these teams left the Mountain West for the Pac-12 was because they saw it as a step up. They're seeing the situation now. Potentially that exit fee is going to go down. They have extra money to go around. This is going to start a couple different things here. We know that the end of March is when the media rights negotiations for the Pac-12 is going to end. They're going to add another member and then potentially 3 more, like San Diego State's AD has already said. Lots of things are moving here. Again, I know we're not getting any football, but we're getting conference realignment stuff. This is going to affect the middle and down of college football. You guys watch. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. What do you think about all this? I personally think that it's pretty interesting that this is happening right now. Ross Dellinger's on it. He's identifying all those things that are going on there. But the Mountain West, you wouldn't go. The first person to talk during negotiation typically loses. They're understanding that they might not have as strong of a legal case. They want to get their money in hand and get this over with. People don't want to go to litigation for years and years and years. It sucks. It's costly. It's wasteful. All those sorts of things. They'd rather get 60% of something's better than 100% of nothing. Do I think it's 60%? No. But the Mountain West is telling you that it's going to be a fraction of what was originally thought of. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.